Okay, so this is block sizes and types 101, and we're going to teach you and you'll be understanding different things about block sizes, block types and widths, and also what orientation is so important. So we'll jump straight in. So first thing is block sizes are just not what they used to be. So again, one of the other videos we talked about perception versus reality. Block sizes and block prices is pretty much the same process. The reality is that they are smaller and they are more expensive. So it's good to familiarize yourself. If you want to get some pricing from sales consultants at different builders, do that. You can go on, the estates websites or openlot.com.au. You'll find a little bit of information there to familiarize yourself with the estates and what blocks are available. Now, different lot types, there are more than this, but the main gist of what we do put together in our industry is you've got obviously corner lots, small lot housing code lots. So they're the ones, the little ones that are under 300 square meters. They have a different set of rules that we have to follow with in terms of setbacks, how far the house can be from the front and the back and those sorts of things. So these are all little examples of that. Then there's irregular lots. So they're realistically just not rectangular lots like these. These are regular lots here. They've got the same width at the front and the back and the same depth on the left and the right. Okay, that's a regular lot. And the irregular lots, they can be all various shapes and sizes. Essentially, some can be like triangle shaped and things like that. Okay, so they're the main lots that we sort of deal with. The common lot widths, the way to sort of understand this, there's obviously townhouses, so they have pretty narrow lots. Small lots, as we mentioned, under 300. There's separate categories. The lot spread that's available these days is sort of 8 to 8.5 wide, so it's more the narrow end. 10, 10.5 again. 12 is most common for the most part. 14 is pretty common. 16 becoming less common. 18 and 20 more regional based. You won't find that in metro very often at all. Okay, so to explain that visually, you'll see here, this is a 12.5 example. You want to work out how big the block is. Very simple. Grab the width of the block, 12.5. If it's a regular one, and times it by the depth of the block, 28 in that case, to here, get you a 350 square meter block. Okay, so 12.5 by 30, 375 block, and so on. Okay, so they're the common ones, but again, the most probably realistic or common one for most budgets is about 12.5 meters, and then by 28 or 30, 32. Site coverage, just a really quick tip on that. One thing, just to try and explain to people, you cannot build a house all the way to the boundary. Obviously, you do need, and we need to follow the rules and regulations that enable your house to comply. And with that, there's certain setbacks required from fence or boundaries, as we call them, okay? So essentially, in addition to that, most estates will have a site coverage limitation, and most of the time that's around 60%. Okay, so we've written 50 to 60 there. So that means that your house can take up about 60% of the overall land, and that's what we have to get that done within, okay? With setbacks, just want to explain again. So we're going to use a 12.5 by 28 example. We're going to put our house on there with a 60% maximum site coverage. A setback is really just the distance from the boundary to the house as it wraps around, okay? So this is a 4 meter front setback, which is the most common setback. Then you've got, jumped ahead there, 5 meter garage setback. Now, some estates may require a 5.5 meter garage. So you actually need to A, push that house back 0.5 meters further, or B, find a design or redesign so that there's a little bit more distance here, okay? Side setbacks, to keep it simple, let's just assume they're around the 1 meter mark, excuse me. Garages, so it's on here. There's really a few options with garages. So most common is 200 mil, so it's like 2/3 of a ruler, and that's the most common. Then there's also a 0 lot, which means you build the garage on the boundary. Okay, so that means that the gutter is going to be lifted on top. It won't be on the side of the house. It'll be lifted on top, which can incur additional cost. And you won't have a fence there. It will be the brick wall of the garage, and the fence will begin again back here. Basically, you have, as a result of these side setback requirements, you'll see when you're looking at floor plans on builder websites that there's a minimum lot width on there. So if it says minimum lot width 12.5 meters, it's probably going to be a house that's about 11.3 meters wide. Okay, and the reason for that, as I've explained, is you have to account for the side setbacks. So let's say it's 1.1 meter here and 200 mil there. Same goes for the depth. So that will be 4 meter front setback. It's a 20 meter house, but it's a 28 meter block. So to work that out, it's pretty simple. Grab your overall lot length, deduct your house length, and deduct your front setback. Will give you your backyard. Okay, so that's just an understanding, hopefully, a little bit more on setbacks. And then again, if you're applying those to the deeper lots, you'll just have pretty much a bigger backyard. Orientation, that's pretty important to understand. So that's what that means is what rooms the sun's going to shine through during the day. So understanding the sun rises in the east, so it gets up over here, and then it goes over here. It sets in the west. Okay, so in winter and summer, it's at different heights. So in winter, it's actually lower. The arc is lower, and in summer, the arc is higher. So when you buy a block of land, it's important to have that block of land visualized with the house on top and understand that is it my bedrooms or is it my living areas that are getting the sun in the morning or the afternoon, and just have a really good understanding of that. So the way I guess try to get people to understand that is pretty simple. You're looking at a floor plan and you're looking at the block orientation. So let's say the house here faces south as per the arrow. Sorry, the block faces south, so the house is situated this way. The driveway is on the left-hand side. The sun gets up on the east, arcs over here to the west. So you might choose a design where the bedrooms, bathrooms are on the left and the living, dining, kitchen, etc. is on the right. In that case, you would have the sun coming through living, dining, kitchen in the morning, and then the sun coming through the bedrooms in the afternoon. Now, this is the complete reverse of that. You may choose to find a floor plan that does the opposite, and there's no real right or wrong. It's up to you whether you prefer that. Personally, I would be suggesting plan option number 2, because the sun goes through the bedrooms in the morning, and over here in the afternoon, it would come through the living, dining, kitchen area. So that's the orientation I would pick if I was choosing a south-facing block. The handy little hack I can give to you is if you cannot visualize the orientation, here's what generally I'd recommend to people to do. So let's just say your block's facing northeast, like this example here. So that's the front up here. What you can do is you can take a screenshot or print out the block. So first and foremost, get the block of land, and it'll always have on the plan of subdivision, will have the north point somewhere. So turn that north point around to be facing up. Okay, so rotate the north point is in the top position. Then draw an arrow from the east to the west. So literally get a pen and draw it across, or on the computer, mark it up in whatever you've got there. And then you can put your house on there, and that'll tell you, visually, you can see where your bedrooms are versus your living areas. Okay, so to work out what side the house goes on, just look at the driveway. Okay, so the garage will match the driveway, and that's how you'll work it out. Okay, so just a little hack for you. Hopefully that helps, and we'll see you for the next video.